So it's already 1 minute past. I'd like to welcome you all once again, and I'm really happy to have you all with us here. I believe that since you have just confirmed that you can hear me all well, so let's get started with our first session. First of all, I'd like to greet all of you. Welcome again in this concluding session at the RSH for safeguarding in the MENA region. This is Rania Al Jabir, representative of the RSH in Yemen, and here with me I have my colleagues Omar Qawasma, that you can see on the screen, and the representative who is the representative of RSH in Jordan, as well as my colleague Kenan Diab, representative of RSH from Syria. In the invitations that you received, the session of today was supposed to be facilitated by our dear colleague Wijdan Jarrah, head of the international operations for RSH. However, unfortunately, due to the weak internet connections where she is, she will be with us only to listen, and she won't be able to speak. However, she's with us in every detail of this session, and she will be there in case you have any questions. Then you can ask her in the chat room. So let's get started. So our seminar for today is going to celebrate the achievements of the RSH, and we're going to discuss the future sustainability regarding the provision of the stakeholders and employees, and also to exchange the knowledge and talk about the different challenges and the lessons learned that we have learned over the time we have spent with each other. So our session for today is going to highlight the best practical practices that have been developed in order to explore the possibility of the center or the hub to continue after a shutdown. And we're going to explore certain visions regarding our vision of sustainability, as well as the services available after the end of our current phase. Also, we're going to have a room for Q&A after this session. As you are all aware, the RSH project was established in order to enhance the policies and the practices of safeguarding in the developmental aspects that are focusing mainly on SEAH. RSA, or RSH, sorry, focuses mainly on supporting the different entities, the small ones, or as we say, the CSOs in the developing areas. Our vision at the RSH is to be catalysts and cooperative, where we aim at meeting the different needs of the associations or organizations that have less resources. Of course, following the guidelines that focus on the survivors. Of course, we are aware that the safeguarding principles are the same everywhere, and the context plays a vital role in directing our work. This is why we focus on the context in the MENA region. The slogan of our hub, and I believe that you are already aware of it based on your visits to our locations and getting to know the materials we share with you, or even through your attendance in the different events, that our main focus or slogan that together we can build a safer sector. And based on this slogan, we'd like to give you an overview on the project as well as the funder, whom without we wouldn't be able to conduct such a work, as our project is funded by UK Aid, as it started in December 2019 through November 2024. Some of you might ask December 2019, but you started interacting with us in the Middle East in September 2021. Yeah, that's right. But you will notice in the next slides that the RSH actually is not limited only to the MENA region. No, actually, it extends to other countries that preceded us and started working, and now they are advanced in this realm. Now, like we mentioned, the RSH works on helping the associations or organizations not only in the mentioned areas and the MENA region. No, actually, it is a global platform of multi languages where there are 18 languages used in for regions in the world. RSH is a consortium or a union that comprises a number of organizations. First of all, we're gonna get started with Options organization, which leads this consortium. And then we have also Social Development Director, which works as the technical interface and the executive interface as well, alongside with the Liaison and the other partners like the International Council or the IGVA and SiteSaver and SetSavers and Clear Global. And like I've mentioned earlier, Artizono. Also, we have a local partner in Jordan, which is IGMAD or IDMAD institution. But before we get started, let's remind ourselves of our agenda for today that you can see on the screen. And our event for today actually is going to be a sort of new, not like the ones that you used to have in the past. This is why it is going to be an interactive event, as we are going to conduct a number of activities over the next 90 minutes, and I hope that you are patient with us because this is the final event for the RSH currently. Like I already mentioned, we are working in 4 regions: Africa, MENA region, South Asia, and Eastern Europe. But given that our event for today is focusing on the MENA region, and we are focusing on Yemen, Syria, and Jordan, because we know that Syria, we intervened in it. However, unfortunately, an earthquake took place last year in it. The achievements wouldn't be possible without the different efforts from the different organizations and the commitment and the belief in the importance of the safeguarding. So in order to learn more and take you in a tour on the achievements that wouldn't have been achieved without your partnership and your efforts and cooperation, I'm going to give the floor to my colleague who's going to take us in a journey to talk about the achievements that we've had over the last 2.5 years with Omar. Thank you so much, Rania, for this introduction. To talk about the achievements of the RSH, we're going to talk about more than 16,000 or sorry, 56,000 people who used our website, given that the website was targeting only the staff who work in the humane work. We have more than 2,200 people who attended our conferences, like the one we're having now. And of course, this is a very good number that reflects our capability of accessing by us some of the services that we provide. We provide documents and very important files that reflect our deep desire and attention to build the capacities of safeguarding at the local organizations in the countries where the project is being conducted. And based on providing these files in order to be easily accessible, we have more than 5,600 downloading for these from the library, which reflects a very important interest by the users. So we can see that these files can be seen on the website, and we could conduct over than 70 training where 800 people attended them from different areas. We have And there is a sequence of training sessions that consist of 5 training modules that target the people who have no idea about safeguarding or have like a very little background on safeguarding but want to learn more, or specialized people of safeguarding, because it would be like a kind of framing to their ideas, and that of course contributed to providing references for them as specialists. And we could organize more than 330 workshop and technical meetings. And also in the series of achievements that we have had, there was more than 36 sessions where you can ask the experts, or under the title of Ask Experts. So there was more than 36 demand. However, in addition to what my colleague Rania said, that these services actually covered beneficiaries from Lebanon, Iraq, Palestine, because these reflect the main concepts of safeguarding. And actually, we were contacted by more than one country from outside the country, in Syria, Jordan, and Yemen, and we received requests from Lebanon, Iraq, and the others. And actually, we were requested to have coordination with Sudan, but unfortunately, the current situation of Sudan uh, couldn't allow for this. And regarding the mentoring programs was done in Jordan, Yemen, and Syria, and that was conducted by specialists, where the one person would be assigned in a certain organization who doesn't know about safeguarding and would stay there for 6 months. The journey would start by assigning to be employed there, and of course, the beneficiaries from these organizations were selected based on certain criteria. Afterwards, a certain specialist would be assigned to this organization. And afterwards, the mentoring program would get started based on what the organization itself identified. Also, among the objectives of the program, to build the capacities of the organizations and the capacities of the employees there. And actually, what we can reflect based on this experience from these people or specialists who work there is that they could build their capacities because of the different expertise we provided by as RSH. And we can say that 94% of the beneficiaries reflected that they have improved a lot, and 97% actually of them said that they have an improvement in understanding the international concepts of safeguarding, and also 96% of the beneficiaries improved a lot in the practices of safeguarding. Now I give the microphone back to my colleague Kenan. The floor is yours, Kenan. Thank you so much, Omar. I'd like to talk or show you a video that includes participations from the different organization representatives who interacted with the RSH over the last 2 years. Now, before I play the video, I'd like to thank all the people who shared their participations. I mean, many of them were really busy, and some of them were from the senior management. So I'd like to thank them for dedicating the time to do that. And actually, this really proves the big size or the great cooperation we've been having with them. So let's take a look at the video, and I hope that you can hear the audio of it very well. So Rania, Omar, and I were saying that at the end we are just staff, and at the end of the day we are just doing our job. And but actually we were really appreciated by the different organizations from these three countries, and this is something we are really proud of. And unless these organizations were really interested in order to improve the concepts of safeguarding, we wouldn't be able to reach such a great result. So again, I'd like to thank all of you, those who appeared in the video and those who weren't there. So like Rania and Omar said, we as a hub, we are, we are in the Middle East, and our main focus was on three countries, which are Yemen, Jordan, and Syria. And yes, after the earthquake specifically, we established a center for Turkey, and there was a work in the different countries where, or additional countries, not with the same focus that took place in the other countries, where these countries are Iraq, Lebanon, and Palestine. And actually, when these hubs were established, there was a communication between us and hundreds of stakeholders, not only the local organizations or institutions or the international organizations, also the funders and the UN organizations. We're going to address them in details, but actually we were trying to understand exactly where we are and what is the situation of safeguarding in each and every country, so that we can establish and build different programs that are harmonized with the local context. Despite the fact that we are in the same region, but of course each and every country has its own specificities. So let's start our journey, and let's start with Rania to tell us about Yemen, how the hub developed, and what the achievements were. So Rania, over to you. I'd like to thank you, Kenan. I'd like to thank everyone. And actually, while I was watching the video, actually, I felt a sense of a pride and happiness that I'm a part of this project, which we held in even a little bit in changing the organizational cultures when it comes to safeguarding in the targeted countries. So now I'm going to remove my position as the head, or I'm going to speak as the representative of the RSH in Yemen. So actually, it is a big honor to me to take you with me in a journey. So please buckle up and imagine that you are in a journey with us to talk about the RSH journey and my experience in it over the last 2.5 years, give or take. It was not an easy one, actually. I remember at the beginning when I first started working at the RSH, everyone actually was concerned about this journey, specifically in Yemen, because the situation there is like risky, and the nature of the Yemeni society and societal culture. However, over these 2.5 years, our main endeavor was like a certificate on the mutual success. Yes, like they say, it was not an easy journey. However, because of the success we reached, or let me say that this success actually was a mutual success and was the result of the different kinds of cooperation in the developmental and the humanitarian aspects through building and developing the capacities of these organizations in Yemen. So let's get started. Our story started in September 2021. Given the humane crisis there in Yemen, the establishment of this hub was like a turning point in terms of our endeavors to build the capacities of these organizations regarding safeguarding. So when we started our journey, we did not start that like haphazardly or like theoretically. No, we perceived establishing that from a practical point of view by conducting a country assessment in order to understand the concept of development in Yemen And based on that assessment, we understood that the concept of safeguarding is a new concept to many of the local organizations there, and that most of the CSOs in Yemen, even if they have their own bylaws and rules and procedures about safeguarding, they are just only ink on paper. They are not being implemented or not even being considered. They are just available there just to ensure that they are receiving funds. And in case they are there, they were not harmonized with the international standards, and there was no Yemenization of it so that it can fit the context there. Also, the safeguarding references were like insufficient. They would receive it over the internet and so on. And even if they were available, they were English language. So there was a kind of a scarcity of materials in Arabic language. Therefore, there was no clear interest by these organizations for the aforementioned reasons. And this was actually a big challenge. And another challenge that they faced is the limitation of resources and the support from the donors. Also, the absence of having local experts from Yemen that know about safeguarding. In Yemen, we have a number of great experts in the aspects of protection, GBV, and others. But having a specialist or even specialists in the field of safeguarding was something really rare. And if they are there, they would be there only in the international organizations. And unfortunately, the local organizations were not capable of benefiting from this kind of expertise. In addition to that, the risks of implementing the safeguarding activities were challenged with a lot of harassment and a lot of obstructions in a sensitive environment in Yemen, which led the local organization to be hesitant when it comes to learning or even talk about the safeguarding to learn and know more about it. However, when we analyzed this assessment and found all these results, so in order to help resolving all these issues that I've already mentioned, like I said, our journey was not an easy one, as the safeguarding is a very sensitive issue for the local organizations, and there was a kind of concern by some organizations. However, the essence of our work as a staff and as people from Yemen was clear, which is to increase the general knowledge on safeguarding and also to enhance the leadership on safeguarding in the local organizations, because we noticed that the weakest cycle when it comes to safeguarding in the humanitarian and developmental field was the humanitarian field. This is why we highlighted it more. Now, after setting a target to enhance the regular or the regulatory culture on safeguarding, we also try to enhance the mainstreaming of the culture there and the local societies through the partnerships with the international organizations, and also to maintain this kind of safeguarding in the local organizations to help the staff to address the different problems they face when it comes to safeguarding, as our approach was rooted in the importance of the cooperation among us. So it was not only about the RSH or the UK aid. No, it was actually an integrated project. It was a project that everyone helped in its success, and hence we were able to gain the support of the local organizations, as we were helped by more than 100 local organizations from the CSOs in Yemen. And I'm really proud that we were able to reach such a number. And I can tell you that when I started communicating in September 2021 with the local organizations to tell them about the idea of this project, and like I told you, they were a little bit reluctant. I remember that when I announced that the mentoring and guiding program, which extends for 6 months, there were only local Yemeni organizations, 15 actually, Yemeni organizations who applied to benefit from this free program. However, when I announced it for the second time in 2023, or sorry, 2022, when I announced this program, I'm really happy to tell you here that requests or applications were provided or submitted to us by 120 local organizations, and hence we started to see the amount of passion that reached out to the local organizations, which showed that they are now interested in the safeguarding, and how the local organizations, when they saw their colleagues from the other organizations, started to know more and things started to change for them completely and started to have different capacities of getting the grants. They started applying to join this program. Therefore, having faith in the principle of safeguarding and its importance is just a small evidence that shows the realization and the awareness of the local organizations of the importance of safeguarding, even in a difficult humanitarian situation like the one in Yemen. In Yemen, the security situation actually imposed on us to follow a hybrid approach in our activities. So one time we would practice or conduct our activity online, like the one we're having now. However, whenever it is possible, we would have a face-to-face events in a number of governorates, and having this kind of hybrid approach, whether face-to-face or via the internet, was a great success and allowed us to deal with different organizations from all over Yemen and bridge the gap in terms of covering the governorates, whether it is in the south or the north, and we ensured a great impact. Our hope in that journey was that to have more and more lessons learned as we realize that the power of partnership is a great thing and cooperation. And as Rania, I'd like to reiterate the importance of partnering and cooperating with different organizations, for example, like the OCHA. And also here, I'd like to thank the gender network in Yemen and the network of No for Exploitation, or SAA, for their cooperation and partnership they had with us, because that guaranteed to us the possibility of following a solid approach when it comes to safeguarding, and highlighted the importance of a local and international partnership in order to ensure the optimum or the maximum application of the international standards in a way that harmonizes with the local context, which actually this enabled us to deal with the different challenges and complexities of safeguarding through the special interventions. Now my colleagues are going to show the next slide, and of course we're going to talk about the achievements, and they are just the tip of the iceberg when we talk about these achievements. Of course, I don't have enough time to talk about all the achievements, as more than 26,000 visitors from Yemen interacted with us. So you can imagine a country that is suffering from problems of electricity and internet. However, it has been one of the countries that showed a huge percentage of visitors to this website, and this showed how much they are interested in the principle and concept of safeguarding. Also, more than 4,500 users finished at least one educational unit or module, and some of them actually incorporated that in their recruitment system, as the e-learning when it comes to RSH or safeguarding is a requirement of their recruitment conditions. Also, when we host certain events like the ones we're having now from Yemen only, despite all the different challenges, more than 500 people attended. And we also trained more than 250 people from the different local organizations or the TSOs in Yemen. In addition to that, more than 35 local organizations benefited from the services of mentoring and guiding services, which extended for over 6 months. And another point that is not mentioned here is that now we have local experts, and I'm really happy and proud that we have local experts that you can get to know them when you visit our site, which is a safeguarding direct list. So you can look for experts from Yemen, and you will notice that we have now local experts, and they are the product of the joint work between us and them as we train them. I know that I talked a lot, but at the end, the story of the RSH, we can say that it is a story of hope, group work, and a belief in safeguarding and its importance. It is a testimony that we can achieve anything we want, but the cooperation and working with each other is the secret recipe to have the success. And we utilize our resources, and at the same time we aspire for the future. So let's move forward using the lessons learned and keep on building on the different pillars and foundations of safeguarding principles in order to ensure a safer environment, a work environment, and a safe environment for us and for our colleagues and those whom we provide services for. We know that what we have presented is just simple, and the needs are still more in Yemen. And I hope that we can see you all later on to keep working with you, because like I said, the needs are huge in our beloved country, Yemen. Of course, now I'm going to give the floor to my colleague Omar, and you can see that Yemen, although we are living in one region, however, the things and situations differ from one country to another. As you can see, Jordan, for example, is a stable country and a hub for refugees. So let's talk about that with my colleague Omar. Thank you so much, Rania, and I'd like to greet all my colleagues from the different organizations in Yemen who couldn't attend with us given the current situation. So again, hello to all of you, and thank you for being with us today. My name is Omar Khawasmi, representative of the RSH in Jordan, and I'm really proud to be here with you to talk about the different achievements that we have achieved together over 2 years of this program. But first of all, we need to highlight the journey of implementation right from the beginning and how it played a big effect in the achievements we are having today. Now, first of all, and as you can imagine, the concept of safeguarding was new, not only in Jordan, but all over the world, because as a concept, it started to emerge not long ago. And in order to implement similar programs, like in similar contexts like the one we're having now, it's going to be a very difficult journey, because safeguarding is not only about policies, no, it's about integrating a new culture in the different organizations. So the question that crossed my mind, where should I start from? Yes, I had the opportunity to consult with other colleagues from the RSH in the MENA region, even in other countries that preceded us in the implementation, like Nigeria, Ethiopia, and South Sudan. And of course, they had a huge expertise in this. But you know, each and every country has its own particularities that need to be taken into consideration. I thought that Jordan would be an easy station to implement, but actually it was the other way around. Things were really difficult. So first of all, there was an assessment that took place in Jordan in order to identify the concept or the situation of safeguarding in Jordan, in order to design a program that is harmonized with Jordan. And of course, that involved talking with the different stakeholders and identifying the available resources in order to address the safeguarding and the SEAH, and also to identify the weakness points and the gaps and the needs, and provide recommendations on the available opportunities. And there was an electronic survey that was conducted with a number of organizations, local organizations all over Jordan, and 5 interviews were conducted with NGOs and semi government organizations to talk about the safeguarding and the challenges they are facing. Also, the different policies, regulations, and laws were explored. All these details are available and elaborately and elaborated actually in the share that will be in the link that will be shared with you later on. So all of these elements were important to implement the program, and actually this helped us in implementing this approach in order to help the local organizations in Jordan to build the capacities and the concepts of safeguarding in these local organizations. And of course, this requires the presence of different people and figures from different backgrounds, like the legal backgrounds or other active international organizations and JIF as well, for example, or the network of PSEA, in addition to the help of our cooperation from NEB and IDMAJ as well. And from here, our beginning started. And with all these efforts, actually, we faced certain problems that were related to the understanding of this new concept. So the concept at the beginning was not clear. So we had to conduct a number of local visits where we took into consideration to cover the whole different areas in Jordan.
And to speak directly with the local entities to speak about the safeguarding and displaying free services are prevented by the resources. Safeguard is the main issue to get the funding, and therefore we should have a link this topic from all of the sides. These meetings had a clear impact in increasing the and this was clear through the visits on the E website, and we were able to establish many WhatsApp groups that had a clear vision to communicate with us and the local entities in all places. And recently, we have included the one WhatsApp in one group to include all of the local entities, and you can join this group through the usage of the link of joining this group, and also we will be spreading the link by the end of the September. And this is, I was a conviction that eventually we have reach out for more people at so we should have further networking with the entities and working entities, and we have held many meetings with international entities to achieve two goals: marketing our services and to uh, communicate with the other entities to reach more than local entities, to speak about with the local partners and the implementers of the programs that we have in our. And also, we have had very important meetings with the donors in Jordan to achieve reaching more entities from the local organizations. Among the free training that we have had, we like training about safeguarding and then adopting this training as part of the code of conduct, and also the implementation of it by the partners, the same thing by international entities. They have asked the implementers to conduct these trainings and many of other e-services like seminars, meetings, also the library that we have spoken about the open resources. Among the challenges that we have faces is not having any request about ask an expert, and these are from the other free services that we present. But in the coming year, after all of the networking with the local entities and entities, we were able to reach about 8 services that is about ask an expert in Jordan. 20 out of these organizations have benefited from the guidance and counseling, and they have attended also with us a meeting in Amman. The satisfaction for what was established between the 2 years of the implementation. We look forward for further achievements in the coming period. And we want to thank all of the entities from those who have contributed to achieve what was achieved so far. Thank you very much for attending. And now we leave the floor for our colleague Kinan, the representative of Syria, to tell us about the program in Syria. Thank you. Thank you a lot, Omar, for what you have presented. Well, to speak about Syria, you will see that there are some similarities between these three countries, especially the broad lines. There was a country assessment at the national level that had a methodology and a mechanism of conducting the work, and we have had indicator, and then as what we have said, so that is the capture about the achievements that has took place, and we have taken that alone to know how much we have worked. The situation in Syria was a little bit different. Perhaps it is similar to Yemen concept that it's a humanitarian response in but the complexities were more, especially in the regions of the control that has more, it was difficult to access it. So the regional or the country assessment that analyzing the safeguarding measures. We have set the details about the local entities, like stakeholders analysis to know who is conducting such work so that we will not have overlapping while we are working, doing the same thing like the others. So therefore, you will notice that we were working with the coordination, and then we have partnership that is the PSC as well network. And also we were concerned to know the gaps, where are we standing, what are we lacking, and how could we go forward in this regard. And also what's something that related to the safeguard in general. Also, that's and so I believe that we have spoken about the legislations and the local laws that are related to the exploitations and abuse and harassment. We have Article 240 in the Syrian that gives mitigation measures if women were killed in case of anger. So I believe we are speaking only here about the legislative and the laws, regardless about anything else. We have a problem in that. Theoretically speaking, also when we were speaking about the review in Syria as a state is a signatory of the protocols that are related violence. We have signed like the CEDAW agreement that eliminating all of the forms of violence against women. So we have also signed that is the agreement that is against the torture, but which is really funny and unfortunate to speak about the all of the things that we have need to speak. If you have worked in different entities, well, if you know when you have the conflict and that is long and that is chronic, so we have dependency on the assistance. Also, we have a mechanism of negative adaptation, like early marriage, and many things that may cause a challenge. It means that it is either am I protecting her, but they are doing an abuse against children by this early marriage. And also, apart from that, that any conflict, the vulnerable entities that include the vulnerable categories like women, children, they will have lack of access to many services, whether social services or even physical barriers. For example, if you have been to Syria, you will see the roads network. This poses them at more at risk to getting to be exploited by the humanitarian workers. And also So the difference of the powers between those who provide the assistance and the beneficiaries, unfortunately, this creates dynamics, and unfortunately, this creates the cases of sexual exploitation by the humanitarian field. Another thing that was of difference than all of the other, that is the PCH topic, was not new when we were speaking about that, when the assessment was well, the institutions were well aware about that. We were not starting from scratch in this, but however, the issue was about building the capacities. The type of the training, the duration, to be frank about it, well, it was presented by international GOs or the IGOs, and the local institutions are implementing. So to protect themselves, this was not happening in a methodological way, and we did not have any support and assistance so that the institutions will be having a policy that like the international entities used to do before when they started to work with these local serial institutions. They have developed the finance, the accountability measures, the structure of the programs. This did not happen regarding the safeguard. So this is among the challenges that we had. Also, moreover, the language that is used literally, if we want to say, and this was common, it was English. There weren't anything in Arabic. And even if there were translation, the translation will be two examples to different forms. Well, we do not deny the problems in our community, but our communities are different than the examples and the scenarios or the approach that took place in the educational material. So having the examples from different communities, that was what was presented. And moreover, the safeguarding, it will be also the institution and the community and the beneficiaries. There isn't anything internal regarding the workers within the entity. And this is what we have seen later on during the time of the earthquake. I'll speak about that also. So when we wanted to do an action plan on how to go forward and how to work, we were seeing that the last challenges, that was the legal framework, and let me say the norms and traditions. Why? Because I have institutions that are licensed in a state, and the staff that is there, and they are implementing their activities within Syria. So, for example, who is in Turkey, there are some legislations that could assure certain aspects, but the policy, if it was not covered by the local laws, it is covered where we do not have that. In addition to that, in Syria, regardless of the areas of the controls, this is what we notice everywhere, the social contract, that is the local authority, if it was police or a legislative court, regardless of what is it. So even civilians, if they try to be independent on it, they say that we want to solve our problems alone. This takes us back that the norms and the culture rules more than the local laws and legislations, if any. So, in a nutshell, what we were trying to do, and to have activities in Syria, that we did not want to have it a long term issue. We wanted to be a long term. We did not want to be happening only in the short term. The other thing that Wijdan have mentioned, that is the institutional capacity building. We have the building the capacities for the institution and not for individuals only. It is very common in the institution that a person is trained and then after 2 months they leave to go elsewhere. So we were concentrating first that the workers, the humanitarian workers and the community of the workers would have this ability regardless where these persons have gone to work. And the other point is that the institution itself will develop policies and also will have a structure. So I will not go a lot about the figures because of the time restraints, but I wanted to speak about some simple points that because of the differences of the control of the regions, it was very difficult to communicate with all of the regions regarding the training and building the capacities online. It was an opportunity for the CSOs that we were able to work in the south of Syria and to take some technical information. But this also was not possible to be done like what was done in the northeast and in the northwest. I will jump over all the numbers and speak about two important points. We have started to Syria when we see that we have institutions that do not have written procedures or policies. And now we are in a place after we have finished the second mentorship program. We have in Syria not only the institutions that have policies, but we have mechanisms and we have investigators that are there. And this is what we have conducted with the partnerships of the protection. This have assisted us a lot, and this is a great achievement. Another thing that we should have, the NAB was also assisting, and also I will not be able to mention all of the institutions that assisted us, but we have said we have told the donors, the FCDO, that the safeguarding should be a part of the accountings and the funding that we have also. So the last layer that took place was the earthquake. The earthquake have affected our work in two aspects. It will let us establish a center to Turkey, and this have let us to speak about the approach, or let's call it the approach that depends on the survivors in Turkey. We were not able to do a national assessment. It was relatively new term. We were able to do the website of Turkey and create the e-learning and we were able to change or to start many tools in the Turkey in the context that is suitable for Turkey. I will stop here. The second speaker is me. So I will be sorry, Kinan. We want to speak a lot about you and about the Syrian activities that and their great activities. So Kinan will remain with us, and now he will guide us to the coming session. That is an interactive session, and I hope that you prepare your phones and if you were attending from the laptop for the use the Mentimeter, because we want to know your opinions and your ideas, tendency, and this will assist us a lot. This exercise will assist us a lot. Yes, Kinan, go ahead, please. Okay, so I apologize for speaking too long. Let's hear from you. Unfortunately, we cannot do unmute and speak all of us. What we tried to reach is this invention, that is the Mentimeter. So the simplest thing, there are two important points. That is the link that will be shared with you on the chat. So it is on the chat right now. You may log in this from the laptop or the tablet, or if you may use it, you can use the camera, you can scan this code. So each question will be responded to in a different way. We will be passing that one by one. I have 40 participants. The services that we have presented were in these categories. So the question to be able to learn what could we do forward, what is the service that you have seen of benefit in sequence, in priority. So you can arrange that and then you put it. So you can submit that. So you will see You so arrange them based on the sequence of the priorities they were training face to face or online, and then the mentorship so that took place in 2022 or 2023 in the northeast and west of Syria. It is the same of training of the investigators that Claudia have conducted. So also the e-learning, I believe many of us have joined the e-learning and also some institutions adopt that with a package of the SR. The library, that is any of the material that we have on the website, and ask an expert is the service, if you remember, that was for 3 days that we have an expert that is working with the institution to be able to, so when you arrange them from the priority, from the most important to the least important or to the least effective, if you say. Omar, Rania, if you have any other details about any of the services related to Yemen or Jordan, please add them. I see that what have the approval is the training and then the mentorship and also the e-learning and the mentorship are with the same level. Well, we have started with 44 persons. I believe now I have 43, 10 persons have not yet given their opinion. So the e-learning, and this is very important to know, the feedback you can write as well. So it is very important to know this. So Kinan, some of the attendees ask for so he's asking how to use it. So I want to tell him, so you can enter the link and you respond. What are the services from your point of view that are most effective from the experiences that you had, from the most important to the least important? So now we have a clear vision. And so this is the next slide. So the question will be open-ended. So you can write about the explanation. So the millimeter, I don't know who has written that. So please, while you are writing, please make sure to keep these. So what are the gaps and the needs that are still there in the safeguarding? If there are anything specific for a certain country that you would like to mention, you can write it. If not, it is general, and if you don't want to write the name of the country, it is up to you. So anyone who is attending in general without any countries and you have any notes, you can write it in English. There is no problem. So now we have started to see some contributions. Okay, so we will repeat the link. Thank you, Mace. So the guidance, the case management, the investigations was written again, difficulty in the application to some of the, I believe it is meant as the policies, the investigations, training face to face, follow up for the development of the knowledge and exchanging experiences, investigations in the safeguarding. We hope to have training on the investigation, child safeguarding, rehabilitation of professional investigations, the need of the use of technology and innovation in the field of safeguarding, whether in the survey documentation or maintaining the environment not knowing the audience, introducing the organizations that were not successful to be with us, the lack of knowledge of people of such services, engaging the authorities, more resources for the safeguarding and disabilities, the case management, having the opportunity to work with experts to develop the work of the experts, that training for the training for those who have not attended before, not accepting the culture, abusing the policies, specialized trainers in Jordan, some practical examples. So the cases of abuse and sexual assaults, we are training for that. We can discuss that. And promotion of communication and in the local governments and the private sector, the needs, and working with all of the stakeholders, including so if you can know from which government that is working with the local government, exchange of experiences, I'm trying to work with them quickly, and also the idea of the safeguarding and its methods and means to the society. We want continuous lectures, coordination with the local entities, follow up with the complaints and their classifications, different training, and also training institutions and banners regarding the policy of safeguarding. And these are on the website, sharing the same organizations with the same programs. There are some institutions that do not know about safeguarding measures, regular meetings, the training in the safeguarding measures as well. A national committee working with the local authority. Okay, so thank you very much. I really appreciate the time that you have dedicated for these procedures. Now I will be moving to the common question that in case the resources center and support have worked to work in this center in these countries, what are the services that you see that we should concentrate on as a service on its own? That was presented in the past period, or if there were certain services in your mind that may took place if it was there, so that this service could be there in case the center commenced its work again or activated its work again. You can write one word or to explain what is this. I'll repeat the question. In case the resources in the support center have returned to the area, what are the services or the field that we should concentrate on? So in one word, what are the services that you would like to see in case we commenced our work? There were many speaking about the gaps. So having mentorship, investigations, to be experts in safeguarding, localization, case management. I believe what they mean by it is that we have the service of the case management, advocacy, for the guidance should be face-to-face, trainers for safeguarding. So I believe we have reached a phase that we have trainers, local trainers in 3 countries, developing of policies. And this was a clear forward work, and we still have needs, case management, expanding the number of investigators. And so this is what we have. Investigation. The support of explaining the case, development of policies, coordinations with the entity that we have.
I'm not sure if there's an assessment to see if this thing is available or not, or if there's like a kind of external assessment uh, and certify the performance later on. To say that this, for example, this organization has its own procedures and policies and so on. Can I think that we don't have enough time for this exercise, or let me say, actually, we have, yeah, I know we still have more to cover in 15 minutes, but we don't want to spend more time on this specifically. So I believe now that we can move on to the next item on the agenda in order to ensure being adherent to our agenda for today. Well, thank you, Rania and Kenan. Thank you so much for your interaction, all of you on the intermeter and your response to the questions asked by our colleague Kenan. In general, I believe the main focus was on working more in a face-to-face way in the mentoring and guiding program. And I also noticed that there is more focus on the case management and on other issues related to investigation. Now, before we invite some individuals to share with us or to take part with us for a few minutes, I'd like to move quickly for Rania and Kenan if you have any inquiries regarding the Mentimeters that you'd like to share with us. Rania, go ahead. Actually, I don't have any observations or remarks, but I'd like to seize the opportunity before I give the floor to our colleagues to answer some of the questions, or one of the questions actually, that are related if we faced any challenges regarding the concept of safeguarding and protection. Yes, of course, this was a new concept in the developmental and the humanitarian aspect. Even when we start to translate safeguarding from English to Arabic, it would translate as protection. So it took us time to build a database for the local organizations to understand what safeguarding really is, and afterwards the misunderstanding started to be less and less by these local organizations, and they started to understand the importance of having a regulatory culture in the organizations in order to ensure a work environment that is free from SEA. Now, of course, it is a very lengthy list, and we don't have enough time, and we can, or you can, of course, communicate with us at any time later on in order to learn more, and I'd be more than welcoming to answer your questions. Over to you, Omar. Thank you so much, Rania. Actually, it is my recommendation that if you have any question or inquiry, to write it down in the Q&A room or through the emails that we're gonna be sharing with you at the end of this seminar. Now, let's hear from some of our colleagues. Now, let's welcome Ms. Dima Khadra. Go ahead, Dima. The floor is yours. Hello, and honestly, I feel really proud that there are Syrian organizations that reached a very high rank and advanced place in terms of the procedures of safeguarding and so on. And now we're having internal investigators, like our colleague Kenan said, who can address the different complaints they are receiving. I'd just like to say that as a safeguarding expert, I'd like to say, and by the way, I've been for a long time a member in the protection cluster, and I'm well aware, of course, along with other colleagues from the Syrian organizations. I believe there is a knowledge gap in a number of these organizations. I mean, not all the organizations have reached the same equal level that we aspire to have. And actually, this makes us uh, in a need to focus on the RSH to keep providing its services and support to the different organizations. I mean, there are so many organizations that we don't want to leave in the middle of the road. I mean, they still need assistance so that they can still provide services responsive to the safeguarding criteria and standards. Thank you so much, Ms. Dean. Let's receive another interventions from Ms. Maha. Maha, please go ahead. Hello, I hope you can hear me. Well, at the beginning, I'd like to thank RSH for this great opportunity uh, in Jordan, along with an association in the south of Jordan, which is considered one of the small ones in Jordan. Actually, our journey has been really great. That started with an electronic survey and ended with an institution or an organization that is well aware of safeguarding and, of course, under the supervision of Ms. Rawan. And during 6 months, we were provided with the mentoring program in order to understand what is really meant by safeguarding. Actually, the policy of safeguarding has been one of the things that are of great importance to us inside the organization or the institution, even to also polarize the grants. But first of all, it was important because it governed the relationship between the different staff members. But what's next? Actually, we are still in a need to the reporting mechanisms and the implementation of investigations because this is still a dilemma, specifically in the small institutions. I was, and I said that in a questionnaire that the small institutions where there is like 20 employees or less, the investigation processes need to be of a high secrecy level. So I hope that this support continues. Again, I'd like to thank you for your cooperation. Yes, one more intervention. Thank you. Let's take the last intervention from Ms. Arij. Go ahead, Arij. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you and the psychological consultant Arij from King Hussein Foundation. Actually, first of all, I'd like to thank RSH, and I don't believe that a thank you is enough compared to the great efforts and the training and the supervision services you have provided to us, which has been organized through EU and has been presented to a number of national institutions and organizations. I believe that this is a very valuable opportunity for us to be experts in the safeguarding program. It has been a great opportunity for us to be in contact with the experts and the evaluators and the supervisors who dedicated some of their time to listen to us and cooperate with us and to discuss with them some of the issues we are facing. Also, actually, this program has contributed heavily, not only on the level of developing the safeguarding policy related to the institution of family health. No, actually, it provided us with the opportunity to see to what level we have advanced and also to communicate with all the different bodies we are dealing with. Also, this program has been one of the most powerful training programs that have been submitted both theoretically and practically, whether in terms of the information, documents, and different knowledge or information references. Also, the practical level through discussing the great contributions through the experts who provided training to us and how they provided or presented the case studies. Now, we as a family health institution in the King Hussein Foundation, we are working on advancing our rank in the concept of safeguarding on a regional and international level. And at the same time, it is our deep aspiration and hope from RSH to provide us with a number of training courses and supervisory programs on the investigation program, and this is a particularity is of a great importance to us, and we really hope to provide us with these concentrated supervisory sessions so that we can have a bigger number of safeguarding experts. Again, I'd really like to thank you RSH, thank you for that structured training and program you provide with us. Usually, when we say training, sometimes when we say like 2 or 3 days training, that wouldn't be enough. But when we talk about a training program that lasts for 6+ months, where everyone is participating in it, I believe this is the thing what made this program a success. So again, a big thank you for all of you. Thank you so much, Ms. Arij, Ms. Maha, and Ms. Dima for your interventions. Now I can see some of the questions from our colleagues. When can we reconduct the online training for other participants? Omar, if I may, I believe that we don't have enough time. We have only 5 minutes. My suggestion is that we take a look at these questions and reply to them later on in a different email. And of course, there are some of the answers to some of the questions. Our colleague Mace now actually is going to be sharing in a bit the links to answer these questions. I hope Kenan can close the screen, exit the screen. Now, before I finish in these last 4 minutes, I'd like to clarify that unfortunately, because of the geopolitical situation in the Arab world, unfortunately, many of the colleagues and the CSOs that we've worked with, whether in Sudan or Lebanon, Palestine, and Yemen, because of the current situation, were not able to join us today. However, I can let them know that we're going to share this recording with them, as well as the links later on. This doesn't mean that the three of us in February, I don't know how to say that, we're not going to be in contact with you, but of course you can contact us via email, which will be shared with you now. I hope Omar and Kenan share it, and of course you can talk to our colleague Adnan Jarrah later on, or with the international team. You can communicate with them through the emails. I'd like to finish perhaps the first phase of the RSH in the MENA region is about to finish, but the story doesn't end. This is just the beginning. The resources that we have established are still available via the internet. Our website is still available, and we will keep you updated regarding the developments on safeguarding it through the different news in English and Arabic languages, which will provide you with the different news and updates. And of course, we are Democrats and we rely on cooperation and democracy. And of course, you can cancel your subscription if you want. But for the sake of a safe community, I hope that you are still or remain aware of these updates. And of course, you can access the training courses that were shared with you, and they are available in different languages, English, Arabic, and so on. So please, Kenan, do share Dan's email and the info email. So it is our pleasure to announce at the end that we have developed a specified tool, or let me say a guide, to provide the safeguarding practitioners with the resources they need to conduct a training on safeguarding in their organizations. So will be a comprehensive training program, and this device or this tool will be added to the MENA region website, and we will be sharing it with you in the next news letter in both English and Arabic. And this guide or booklet or tool is going to help you train your staff where you can be the star of the change in your region. We have only 1 minute left. Thank you so much, Ainan. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, the dear participants and all who is attending with us. And we will be in contact. Again, like I said, if we are not available, our website or our website is available, which Dan is there, and you can contact us at any time. Thank you so much. Bye bye.